Hi there, this is Dr. J. Kent Gregory again, and this is part three of chapter one, the introduction to law. And in this part, what we'll do is spend a lot of time talking about the rule of law and how law specifically affects businesses. So with this one, we look at the rule of law and we see, as we've discussed, that it establishes rules that people, and then for our purposes, businesses, must follow to avoid being penalized. And it provides a sense of peaceful and predictable means by which disputes can be resolved. It provides guidance and direction, and it provides a sophisticated system of federalism in the United States. And finally, something to keep in mind is ex post facto. This is a type of law that is applied retroactively to its passing, meaning it's passed, but then it applies to uh, events or procedures that have happened in the past. So ex post facto, meaning after the fact itself. So the importance of the rule of law continued. It governs the contracts between people and merchants, provides protection of property, protects people from illegitimate practices of businesses, and it protects businesses from governmental abuse. The merits of the rule of law. Uh, Employers know the rules of the game regarding their relationship to employees, so things are more or less specifically spelled out. And then vice versa, employees know the rules with respect to their obligations to employers. We can talk about and will talk about specifics of this throughout the term. And then businesses can rely on it to govern their debtor and creditor relationships. The key takeaway is that the rule of law system in the United States sets the rules of the game for doing business. And that's essentially it in a nutshell. So we'll talk about a few specific examples of the rule of law and how they affect businesses. The first one is the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002. And this was passed following a series of accounting disasters. Disaster is not the right word, but major accounting issues that appeared, in particularly with Enron and WorldCom. And this imposed stringent oversight requirements on accounting and auditing firms. And the requirements sought to ensure competence, compliance with security laws, and conduct consistent with generally accepted accounting principles. One of the other aspects of it is that the CEO or CEOs or presidents had to personally ensure the accuracy. Sorry that my writing doesn't look so well. Personally ensure accuracy of the accounting statements. The Securities and Exchange Commission, also known as more commonly known as the SEC, it protects investors and it seeks to maintain a fair market. It enforces accounting and auditing policies, pursues charges of accounting fraud, oversees private regulation of the accounting profession, and it enforces prohibitions against insider trading and other types of security fraud, such as Ponzi schemes. A Ponzi scheme is a type of investment fraud similar to pyramid schemes. We saw this most recently, I suppose, with Bernie Madoff, uh, who defrauded investors of billions. And transactions and management. Financial transactions, probably the most important one that comes into play, or an important one, is the Truth in Lending Act. This is a federal statute that requires lenders to provide accurate information concerning costs involved in offers of credit. And Regulation Z, this is the regulation that actually implements the Truth in Lending Act. And management. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. This is the act that prohibits discrimination related to protected characteristics in hiring and employment practices. The key takeaway is that law is relevant to every business discipline, and minimizing liability exposure is a primary concern of business. And so an understanding of the legal environment is relevant to each disciplinary perspective, and it helps business practitioners minimize their risk of incurring liability to themselves uh, or to their, here it says employers, but that really should be employees. So employees. So there we go. And that brings us to an end of part 3 of chapter 1 and to an end of chapter 1. Thank you very much.